Ladies and gentlemen, you are looking live from the famous Madison Square Garden, the home to the 2025 AEW All Out. I am joined here by a very special guest, Bryan Danielson, the former AEW World Champion.
Unfortunately, I was never the world champion, but I was close. Anyways, this is not all about me. This is about the people that are going to be performing here live in just a couple of minutes at All Out here in New York City. It's an honor to be here. Thank you for the introduction, Harvey.
And I also very last by the special great Morgan.
Yeah, I'm very glad to be here. I'm a hometown boy. We're here in the Big Apple, the Mecca, the biggest city in the United States, most populated city in the United States, New York City. Only the biggest city deserves the biggest pay-per-view. All Out.
And I'm also joined here by my commentary partner, Malcolm.
Oh yes, man. Home with the Yankees. I was also originally born in New York, so this is like home to me, man. It's very good to be here.
Tonight will be a historical night for AEW and professional wrestling tonight. We have a stacked match card for the night. Firstly, we will have Mercedes Moné versus Julia in a New York street fight. Then we will have Kenny Omega versus Bobby Lashley for the International Championship. Then, followed by that match, it will be Bobby Lashley's Hurt Syndicate with MVP and Shelton Benjamin versus the Lucha Brothers for the AEW World Tag Team Champions. Then followed by that, it will be Mariah May versus Ariane Andrew for the TBS Championship. Then we have the Switchblade Jay White versus the Cowboy Hangman Adam Page in the TBS Championship class. Then for our main event, a 2 out of 3 falls match with every stipulation, where every stipulation counts. It's gonna be a crazy night. How are we feeling about these matches?
I feel like we should start off with the match that's going to be opening up our show. That is Mercedes Moné versus Julia. Mercedes Moné just last night, right around the corner at the Manhattan Center, defeated Athena to become the brand new Ring of Honor Women's Championship. So she has all the momentum coming into this pay-per-view.
I do have to agree with you there. It's now, I usually will refer to her as 3 belts Moné, but now it's 4 belts Moné. How do you feel about 4 belts Moné now, ever since she won the ROH Women's Championship? Malcolm.
Well, 4 belts is kind of a lot of belts, but you know, she's a belt collector, I guess. Again, like I said a few nights ago, Mercedes Moné has won a championship everywhere she has went to, and I see it only growing.
And to our special guest here, Bryan Danielson, how are you feeling?
Well, how I feel about this match? Well, first of all, I want to give Mercedes the props because she's been here from the very start, from once we started. And again, she did main event, the first All-In we ever had with Britt Baker. That was a wonderful match. She might have fell short, but she got back up, and look at her now. She has 4 belts and different promotions too. So, props to her.
I think
to you or you.
This is, the CEO. The CEO's been here since day one. She was the second AEW Women's Champion. Then she became the 4th AEW Women's Champion. She's the only 2-time Women's Championship here in AEW. And I'd be wrong if I didn't mention the fact that she's also the IWGP Women's World Champion. She's also the Ring of Honor Women's World Champion. She's also the Rev Pro British Women's Champion. She is 4 belts, Moné. She has the belts to prove it. It's there. I actually did hear that she might have lost the Ring of Honor Women's Championship already, She can't keep up with all of them. I'm gonna have to go with the CEO Mercedes Moné on this one. But I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised if Julia surprises tonight.
Speaking about her win yesterday, Mercedes Moné did take a lot of bumps to the back of her neck, and that may cause some problems in her match today. I really was concerned about her competing tonight after all those power drivers and the power driver on the steel steps last night. But I will have to go with the underrated Julia for the win in this match.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to pause. We're going to take a quick look at the rivalry between Julia and Mercedes Moné.
Mercedes, I see you use the opportunity that you were given wisely, becoming the first ever AXR two-time Women's World Champion. Congratulations.
Well, and
You're
certainly
never
Shut
ever
up. As great as the CEO.
a CEO or a CEO.
I make people care, and even then, you'll always be last of when it comes to famous shows and stars. Like Asuka, Io, Scott, Fame. I beat the top. I took over Japan, and now, Julia, I'm gonna beat you too, bitch.
You keep calling yourself a CEO, and I'm gonna say it again and again. You're a CEO. Your marriage collapsed, your love life is dead, and now you're keeping these belts like they're therapy. Your empire isn't growing. It's falling apart.
Watch your fucking mouth before I shut it, my
And here comes Julia.
Face of women's wrestling, but the truth is simple. Your legacy was built in WWE system. You had the machine, the spotlight, the fame, and the team from day one. While me, I built myself from nothing. I carried stardom on my back with no safety net. I didn't need a machine.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to AEW All Out 0 Hour. We just took a look at Mercedes Moné versus Julia video package. Now let's move into the Kenny Omega versus Bobby Lashley. Bobby Lashley has been on a dominant role here in AEW. Can Kenny Omega stop his momentum? That's the question for him. I really do feel like that Kenny Omega may put an end to Bobby Lashley's momentum here tonight and put Bobby away for good. How are you feeling, Brian?
I have fought Kenny Omega multiple times before. I mean, it was a hard fight. Bobby Lashley, though, I never got to step in the ring with him, but it seems like him and the rest of the Hurt Syndicate, they do hurt people and they like to mark their territory here in AEW. But I think Kenny Omega has a lot more experience than Bobby Lashley, so I'm going to go with Kenny Omega.
Okay. That's a very wise choice, saying that you do have in-ring experience with Kenny Omega, but we need to get an answer from everybody on this panel. So moving on to the great one, Ordell.
Thank you for the introduction. That is true, though. Brian mentioned it already. He's lost to Kenny Omega on more than one occasion, multiple times, in fact. I mean, he's lost to Kenny Omega when it comes. No, he actually only time he's ever beaten Kenny Omega actually is inside a multi-man match at Blood and Guts where he did like 10% of the work. But I digress from that fact. Kenny Omega is
no, not 10%. No, don't do that. It was not 10%. No 10%. No, I was in there busting my ass in the beginning, all the way to the end.
Moving on, Kenny Omega has defeated Bobby Lashley before. In fact, he defeated Bobby Lashley just about 3 to 4 weeks ago on a Dynamite after Forbidden Door. So this is Bobby Lashley's proving moment. Okay, this is his chance to prove that he can, yes, indeed, defeat the Cleaner. He, yes, can defeat the Alpha Omega, Kenny Omega. Omega has the statistics that he can beat Bobby Lashley, but Bobby Lashley has that anger, and when you're angry, you cannot defeat the almighty Bobby Lashley.
And let's not forget that the Hurt Syndicate will be in the arena tonight for that match, so it might be a little help to Bobby Lashley. Malcolm, how are you feeling about this?
Sorry to cut off Malcolm. The Hurt Syndicate is actually barred from ringside.
Oh yeah. You know, that's what's gonna make that match fair. The Hurt Syndicate is banned from ringside, which is a very good decision from our GM or whoever did that. That is a very great decision. We don't need MVP. We don't need MVP at all, to be honest. But this ain't about MVP. This is about Bobby Lashley and Kenny Omega. As you said, Ordeal, Bryan Danielson does have history with Kenny Omega. And if you can't beat Bryan Danielson, and that means that you are very technical, very good at technical wrestling. And I think that technical wrestling is going to outwit Bobby Lashley's pure anger and brute strength. So I have Kenny Omega winning at All Out tonight.
Yes, Malcolm, speaking of our general manager, this match was just made official just last night on AEW Death Before Dishonor. It will be, no, not just last night, it was made official last week on ROH Ring of Honor. It will be the Hurt Syndicate versus the Lucha Brothers for the AEW Tag Team Championships. The Lucha Brothers having very agile skills and high-flying ring ability, but the Hurt Syndicate has that brute power, and that may be an advantage here tonight. But moving on to the next match, my personal favorite, actually, Mariah May versus Ariane Andrews for the TBS Championship. Ariane Andrews.
Sorry to cut you off. We need to jump right into this because we're already showing it on TV time. This is a match I'm really looking forward to tonight. Ariane Andrews has consequently been a part of AEW for a few months now. She came in just about the same time as Mariah May. Mariah May has been able to capture the TBS Championship. She's been able to capture a lot of luck, to capture the heart of the fans. Ariane Andrews, on the other hand, hasn't had that luck. She's been the bag carrier for Trinity. She's been... There's so much words I could come up with. She's been in the shadow of Trinity. That's the overall idea of her career here inside of AEW so far. This is the first time she's actually coming out of the light between Trinity, out of Trinity's shadow. This is the first time she's in her own singles match on a pay-per-view. Every other match has been a tag match, a casino battle royale. This is her first time by herself on her own. Back to you, Harvey.
Yes, I do have to agree with you that Ariane Andrews will pick up the win. But moving on to Jay White versus Hangman Adam Page. Hangman Adam Page and Jay White have been over and have been going through a little dispute after Jay White beat Hangman Adam Page for his TNT Championship. After Hangman Adam Page has pledged that he will hold the TNT Championship for a very, very long time. So Malcolm, how are you feeling about this match tonight?
You know, the way Jay White won the TBS Championship was in my opinion, controversial. You know, I thought he kicked out, but I guess he didn't. But Hangman has his redemption here tonight. But nobody said that the Guns were banned from ringside. So I feel like the Guns are just gonna have something to do with this. So by shenanigans, I feel like Jay White will unfortunately retain.
Yes, Malcolm, your opinion is great. But I do feel like that Hangman Adam Page will overcome. But moving on to our main event, it will be the CEO versus Julia for the AEW Women's Championship. And I think it's going to be... No, wait. I'm very, very, very sorry. It will be MJF versus Will Ospreay in a 2 out of 3 falls match. It's going to be epic. See, I'm saying that we do have a former superstar here. So, Brian, how are you feeling about this match, and who do you think will come out on top?
Well, the first fall is barbed wire, a barbed wire match. The second fall is an I Quit match, and the third there's a special guest referee. You never know what could happen. And you don't know how long this match could go on. It could go longer than that Blood and Guts match I had. Will Ospreay is a wonderful wrestler. He's a high flyer. He's all of the above. MJF, he doesn't really give a fuck. He is here from New York. He's from New York. He's from Long Island. Anyways, I'm going to say I go for Will Ospreay because I don't really like MJF.
Even though Will Ospreay took his anger out on you at All In after what you did to him at Blood and Guts. But just to digress, the first fall in that match will be a I Quit stipulation chosen by Will Ospreay. The second fall in that match will be
Did your mic cut out? You can get.
will be a barbed wire match. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties. And the last fall, if it does go to the last fall, it will be chosen by Brandy Rhodes, which we don't know yet. But let's take a quick look at the MJF Will Ospreay promo package for tonight.
The man who single-handedly rid you of CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. The man who embarrassed Okada at Forbidden Door. The man who now carries the company on his back because not one of your so-called heroes is on my level. And before any of you mouth breathers chant, no, I'm not worried about Will Ospreay because Will Ospreay are the crew who chokes when the lights are brightest, just as Zack Sabre Jr. and how at this Forbidden Door.
Nobody here thinks you got it, MJF. You don't even believe in yourself, bro. You're not the devil. You're just a spoiled, scared little boy from Long Island.
At Forbidden Door, you had a golden opportunity. IWGP World Title shot. Spotlight all on you. And what happened? You folded like a cheap tent in the ring. Meanwhile, I took the ace of New Japan, Okada, and I embarrassed him. I beat Mr. GW Climax, the longest reigning IWGP World Champion. I win moments. That's why I'm better than you. And deep down, you know him.
You left that line, huh? Better than you. You think you're clever calling yourself the devil, eh? I see right through you. You ain't the devil. You're just a scared little boy from Long Island. You got his exploited. And you know what? I'm gonna do it differently. I won't be a coward bitch like you. I'm gonna look at you in the dead in the eye and tell you I'm cashing in my championship contract.
Well, you need to rethink that. You're a charity case trying to save everyone. You couldn't even save yourself at Revolution. You couldn't even save Malachi from making the best decision of his life. Learning from me, and you sure as hell won't save AEW from this. This is my company now.
I've been carrying around this contract since All In, waiting for my fans to lift this company off their back and put it on my shoulders. I could have cashed in on a broken man, picked up my moment, taken the easy road, but I ain't you. So listen close, Max. At All Out, it's gonna be MJF versus Will Ospreay for the AEW World Championship.
Oh, so the little Brit finally grew a spine. Fine, you want me at All Out? You're on. But when it's over, you'll be nothing more than another failure in the autobiography of MJF.
Not so fast, bro. I spoke to Brandy Rhodes. This is a 2 out of 3 falls match. If you survive to the third, Brandy Rhodes herself, she's the final stipulation. At All Out, I'm not just taking a championship. I'm kicking the Lucifer out of heaven, sending him down to the deepest pit of hell. I'm taking the soul of AEW from Satan himself and giving it back to the people. You may have beaten me once, Max, but you never beat me twice. At Madison Square Garden, I walk out. AEW World Champion.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 0 Hour. We're about to start the main show, AEW All Out, live from New York City, right here in Madison Square Garden. Make sure you switch to the All Out stream. We're about to switch over there. You're not going to want to miss this pay-per-view. Once again, to quickly go over tonight's pay-per-view, Ariane Andrews versus Mariah May for the TBS Championship. That's a blockbuster match we've been waiting for a very long time. And tonight we see the end of it. And moving on, Hangman Page versus Jay White for the TNT Championship. This rivalry began at Forbidden Door when Hangman Page defeated Jay White. Moving on to AEW Dynamite Grand Slam London, Jay White took the TNT Championship from Hangman Page. This is their third time meeting and their final time. And then on to Bobby Lashley versus Kenny Omega. After a blockbuster match just a few weeks ago, they come back for the second time, but this time for the AEW International Championship. Will the Kenny Omega retain, or will Bobby Lashley gain? We're going to find out. And then Julia versus Mercedes Moné, which will be opening up the show. That will be for the AEW Women's World Championship. Do we see 4 Belts Moné walk in and walk out as 4 Belts Moné, or do we see Julia make history tonight in our main event in a 2 out of 3 falls match? Will Ospreay versus the MJF for the AEW World Championship. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching All Out 0 Hour.